disastro.
Even from the helicopter up here, you can feel the tension and the excitement in the air. A battle royal between Nicky Hayden and Valentino Rossi for the ultimate prize on two wheels, the MotoGP World Championship.
We went to Portugal, it was 2 races to go, 50 points still on the table, and Nicky Hayden was leading the World Championship. Then
Hayden's championship dreams have disappeared after a mistake by his teammate, Danny Pedrosa.
the accident happened, Pedrosa went up on the inside, lost it on the brakes, had a bit of a wobble, and of all people to hit, he took down his teammate and he took out the World Championship leader. Both of them were out there, and then Danny saw that Nicky was okay, walked off. Nicky was swearing and cursing like we've never seen before, and who can blame him?
You know, I didn't know what happened. I thought something happened. Danny must have touched somebody because, you know, we know Danny's a smart rider who don't normally, you know, make a big mistake like that and just run into the back of somebody. So I didn't know when I got up. I figured it wasn't all his fault. So that's why I probably saved him. And afterwards, you know, I mean, I was really upset. I mean, you can tell, you know, I thought my chances of being world champion were over, you know. I mean, the pain I felt that day in the gravel trap was, I mean, it hurt.
I'll never forget about that day, actually, the press conference Nicky gave afterwards. He was practically in tears, had the big dark glasses on as well.
You know, we're professionals. We do our job. I mean, he did come and talk to me. And I mean, I'm sure he hates it. I mean, he sincerely hates it. I'm sure he hates it for himself because it makes him look terrible. But I mean, I honestly would like to thank the guy, seeing how much I put into it, knows what this means to me. Tuesday, when everybody else went home, me still out there testing. I mean, a guy with any kind of heart's got to know, you know, world championships, you don't get these opportunities all the time. It's not like I'm going to just brush it off, come back next Sunday, you know, if it costs me the championship. I mean, it's something I could live with the rest of my life. So I know he's got to feel bad, and I know Danny's not that kind of rider. I mean, I know it's not intentional at all.
Portugal 06 was a defining race for 2 reasons. We had the Repsol Hondas going into the gravel and the whole political hoo-ha of losing the championship lead to Valentino Rossi. But in my mind, it was a part 2 race. We had the Repsol race, and then we went right. We regrouped in the commentary box, and in my mind, and this guy from well deep on the grid, outside the top 10, came back and was battling for the lead. I said on the commentary about Elias, whatever he does in this race, if he wins it and prevents Valentino Rossi from winning the race, Honda HRC will give him $1 million cash in diamonds, in gold, in anything that he wanted that night if he won the race.
La última propuesta ya era intentar alcanzar a Valentino, lo alcancé y a partir de ahí estuvimos luchando un poco de tú a tú hasta poderlo ganar al final. Y se mezclaron muchas cosas, ¿no? Primero por conseguir mi primera victoria en MotoGP, segundo por ganar a Valentino y tercero porque de repente en solo 12 horas la situación cambió mucho y ya teníamos trabajo para el año siguiente.
Ha fatto vedere che con la sua guida spettacolare ha fatto divertire il mondo intero, perché è una gara che è rimasta un po' nella storia, ancora se ne parla, no? Delle frenate, delle sue frenate speciali, che passava in staccata 2 piloti di un certo livello come Valentino, Kenny Roberts.
His only Grand Prix victory in the MotoGP class for Tony Elias. Valentino Rossi, as it turned out, lost the World Championship because he didn't win that race. It really was, well, it had everything, that race, but as often happens in these situations, the actual race itself got overshadowed by the crash of the teammates Hayden and Pedrosa.
From Estoril 06, we then had a weekend off before the final race at Valencia. I contacted Nicky Hayden between those races and I said, listen, you're in a bit of a dark place, but just keep going. You can do it. Valentino Rossi, he was the guy that was being chased. He had an 8-point lead going into that final one. Rossi had done all the fighting that year. At Laguna, he was, nearly 50 points behind the championship leader, and he got 8 ahead by the time we got to Spain. It was doable, but Rossi was going to his bogey track. It hadn't really worked on a Yamaha for Valentino at Valencia.
Sapevamo che non sarebbe stata una gara difficile. Normalmente quando Vale ha un vantaggio del genere deve solo mantenerlo, si tratta solo di stare davanti al televisore e godersi la gara. In quel caso in particolare invece la tensione era palpabile prima della gara.
My plan was to go all in, you know, basically win the race and try to hope for, you know, a problem from Valentino, and you know, we got it done. So, you know, I think the main thing is just had to brush it off, get over it. You know, I mean, deal with it. You know, life sometimes, you know, at the time it didn't seem fair, and I was pretty upset. But you know, life's not always fair. Either is MotoGP.
Nicky got a superb start in the race, and there was a little bit of a needle, a bit of an elbow as he went past him as they went down, and it was almost like he was so determined, and that's what that season was about really for me. For his championship came from determination and guts.
What I most remember about Valencia 2006 was the absolute surprise and silence that fell over the crowd when Valentino Rossi crashed at Duin Corner when he was beginning to get into contact. Nicky was running in third place at that time, looked capable of being on the podium, and had Nicky finished second or third, Rossi was going to have to push up there to be fifth or fourth, so there was a little bit of pressure on him. He crashed, and the crowd went completely silent.
Quella gara è stata la fotografia di tutto l'anno, cioè una gara non bella, finita così.
I think, you know, I learned something. I think Yamaha as a company learned something that year that, you know, we need to be more prepared, and we couldn't afford to expect Valentino to put in like he was if we couldn't deliver to him a bike that was reliable and competitive with the others.
When I came off that last corner and knew that it was a done deal, and I seen my team, and you know, when I got back to the podium area and seen my family, my brothers, my sister, mom, dad, it was pretty heavy, you know, because you know, it's not just an accomplishment I feel like I achieved. You know, I had a lot of people from the time I was about 5 years old who made a lot of sacrifices to give me that opportunity, and for sure was a good moment.
The more we look back on Nicky Hayden's 2006 title, the better it looks. The developing a bike on his own with a rookie crew chief, with a young crew, not Honda's favoured son, yet he beat Valentino Rossi in the 990 era, the only man to do so. It was a really solid piece of work.
In the end, it made for a good story, you know. I mean, it made for a fairy tale that I'm not even sure Hollywood could sell that story because people wouldn't believe it.